easy Rightsizing on KFOR FM 103.3 1240 AM. Janine Bryant of Changing Spaces SRS, recognizing that you might be feeling a little overwhelmed right now, feeling a little out of control with what we as a society are going through. But I'm here to tell you, you are in the right place this morning. Every Sunday morning, Janine inspires you with helpful tips, which will get you going on your right-sizing journey, letting you know that this is going to be fun. You'll enjoy this. Welcome, Janine.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here this morning.
Well, we all need a little positivity these days, don't we?
We do. And, you know, during this time of social distancing, I think it's great to be able to set small tasks for yourself, small goals, and work towards those goals. And it helps you feel a sense of accomplishment when you might be feeling kind of stuck at home.
I agree. Good suggestions. You come with suggestions on projects that listeners can tackle while they are self-isolated at home, projects that tend to get put off because people don't have the time. Well, now
that's right. They
have time.
That's right, yes. You know, I think it's very easy to put off some of these right-sizing projects onto the back burner because, boy, if you've got other things to do, sometimes those things look a little bit more attractive, and you think, well, I'll do those other tasks later. And now is the time when you're at home, you've got lots of extra time. Instead of feeling stuck or worrying, let's set a small goal for ourselves and let's tackle some of these right-sizing projects. So, if dear listeners out there, I would encourage you to go get a pad of paper and a pencil and take some notes, because I've got some suggestions of things that you can be doing right now to further your right-sizing journey while you've got all this extra time at home.
Let me just add, as folks go get their pencil and paper, and maybe they're just writing it on their memo pad on their phone, the place to go for additional information is www.changingspacessrs.com. You can learn more about the services provided by Janine at Changing Spaces SRS. All right, they should have their pad and pencil in front of them. For me, Janine, a garage is a cathartic thing for me to do, to clean up, to straighten my garage.
Absolutely. And, you know, now that it's springtime, the weather is getting warmer, that's a great thing to tackle. I don't want you out there trying to clean the garage in January, and I don't want you out there in July trying to clean the garage. So April is a perfect month to get out there and do something like that. Now, sometimes the garage can seem overwhelming, but I like to break projects down into smaller steps. I think that makes it a lot more approachable. So the first thing, if you're tackling your garage, is get in there and get any trash out. Go out and take a big trash bag, and anything that you can see that's broken, stained, that maybe was trash in the first place and you've just been storing it in there, get all of that out immediately. Then you can look at the items in your garage that you are not using anymore and that you don't need, and those can perhaps be given to someone else. They can be donated to charity. You could set it out on your curb with a big free sign even. And just doing those two things, getting out the trash and getting out the things that you're no longer using, will make a huge difference, because then whatever is left in your garage is the stuff that you are going to use and you do want to keep. So then you can tidy that up and then give it a good sweep, and your garage is going to feel so much better, and you're going to feel so much better every time you look at it.
I'll give you a peek into my life, Janine, and that is that things that get into the garage are usually things that came from the house.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes it's an overflow, right?
Yeah, it's just been shifted from inside my house to the garage, and now it's time to give it away, throw it away, take care.
That's right, yes. Okay, now another, after you're done with the garage, here's another project, and we've talked about this before, Dale, on the radio program, but that is sorting through photos. Mm-hmm. That's a big project that people think it's going to take a really long time. But you know what? It's also kind of a fun project. And so it's a great thing to do during this time, because it brings back all these great memories of trips you've taken and family gatherings. And so now is the perfect time to go through your photos, flip through those photo albums, sort the ones that you want to keep from the ones you don't want to keep. And if the listeners would like to hear more tips on sorting through your photos, they can go to my website, which is easyrightsizing.com, and I've got all of our old episodes listed on that website, so they can go ahead and listen to our old episode that is all about photos specifically.
EasyRightsizing.com, again, is the place to go. All right, for a lot of people, cards and letters are really tough because they were given to us by loved ones, or in a situation where a card was the perfect message that we needed at the time, and it's tough to get rid of those.
Yes, and okay, here's my message. You don't have to get rid of all of those cards and letters, but it's just like anything else. You keep the best, and you get rid of the rest. Mm-hmm. So when you are that's another fun project is to sort through your cards and letters. It brings up lots of good memories, hopefully. And when you are sorting through them, give yourself a limit. So tell yourself, I'm going to keep maybe one shoebox of cards and letters from throughout the years. Or maybe it's one larger box or two boxes, whatever the limit may be. Now, I speak from experience because my dear mother, growing up, we had 3 huge totes, plastic totes, of every card that we had given her and every card she'd given us and every card we got from the grand. So my tip is to keep your favorite cards, but don't keep all of the cards. So flip through them, separate out the best, and then recycle the rest. And you'll hopefully downsize your collection to something that's a little bit more manageable.
Janine Bryan from Changing Spaces SRS. Every Sunday morning we talk about right sizing here on KFOR. Sorting and decluttering recipes. That for some people, recipes are written down. My grandmother just sprinkled this, sprinkled that. But people do have recipes that get out of control.
That's right. Now, we are probably all doing a lot more cooking at home than we're used to. I know I certainly am. And so now is a great time to go through your recipe collection. Again, keep the best, let go of the rest. Keep the ones that you're actually using. Now, a lot of people are using mostly the recipes that they find online. But for those of us who do still have recipe cards, this is a great time to sort through those. Boy, I tell you, in my life, Dale, some of those recipe cards are some of the greatest keepsakes because they're handwritten by my grandmother or my mother, and there's just something special about seeing that handwritten recipe that is so special and so meaningful. I've even seen folks who frame some of those old recipes and hang them up in their kitchen as a piece of decor. So that's another great idea. That
is a very good idea. I came across my grandmother's beef and noodle recipe written in her handwriting, and that's just precious.
Yep,
I also
absolutely.
thought of you the other day, too, when I came across a box that is my son's K through 6 mementos box of little art crafty things, letters, occasions that came up when he was the age of kindergarten through 6th grade. And that's a suggestion that people can take advantage of during their time at home.
Absolutely. So I say this is a great time to create a memento box for each of your kids. Maybe you aren't seeing your kids right now while we're practicing social distancing, but why not start a box for each kid or maybe even each grandkid in your life as you're sorting through your stuff? Place the keepsakes that you'd like to pass down into each of those boxes, and then when you see them the next time, they're going to have a great gift from you of some keepsakes, and you can pass them on and get them out of your house, and then they've got a box full of mementos that were specifically chosen just for them. So that's a great thing to do during this time of social distancing.
We've had conversations on this show before, Janine, where you are helping people, and one of the items that's tough for many people to sort through, and that's books.
Yes, we get pretty attached to our books, don't we? They feel like accomplishments, I think. When we keep those books on our bookcases, we think, yes, I read this book, and I'm going to keep it up here as proof, that I read that book. Now, you maybe have heard me say this before, but my suggestion for books is to only keep books that you refer to often or books that you haven't read yet, but you're looking forward to reading soon. Those books that you've already read, I suggest passing those on if you're not planning to reread them. And then those books that you have not read, but you're not probably ever going to take the time to read them, I also suggest passing those on as well. Now, I will say that typically my suggestion for getting rid of books is to donate them to the Lincoln City Library. Right now, during this time of social distancing, they're not accepting those donations of books, but that doesn't stop you from boxing them up or putting them in grocery bags and then putting them in an out-of-the-way room in your home until the time comes when you can donate them again, and get those books into the hands of someone else who could really use them and enjoy them.
Or at my house, they would make their way into the garage.
Well, there you go. And then you tackle it when you're cleaning out the garage.
Yeah. And then we go around in that vicious cycle again. Sorting through paperwork. This is tough. We are still trying to sort through a sunroom, and that's all it is paperwork. Everything from old bills that I think I need to keep for more than a year to boxes that have moved from house to house now to this house and have never been opened. I'm guilty of that.
Yes. Oh, you're in good company, Dale. I see that a lot. So paperwork does. It feels very important. We feel like once we get rid of it, we're going to need it. Maybe we haven't looked at it in years. Maybe we've never looked at it since we put it into our files. But we think, boy, the instant we get rid of that, we're going to need it. So now springtime is tax time. We're all kind of looking through our files anyway to collect those tax documents. And I think that's a great time to be going through your paperwork. I really recommend that folks try to keep their paperwork to just one filing cabinet. And so if you have more than that, chances are you're keeping too much. Now, the IRS has lowered their guidelines for how long you need to keep your receipts and back taxes to 5 years. It used to be 7 years, but it's now actually 5 years. So if you have, documents that predate that period of time, you can feel safe to go ahead and get them shredded. And, shredding, if you've got a home shredder, boy, that's a good activity to get done this time of year. Go ahead and start shredding those things. And items that don't need to be shredded, you can just put right into the recycling, and it's a good way of downsizing your paper clutter during this time when you're spending that time at home anyway. I'm going to be honest, it's kind of a boring task, but why not use this time at home to get it done?
We leave you with a suggestion. Find Janine's book, Ready to Rightsize. You'll find it on Amazon.com or from the Office of Changing Spaces SRS. Here's a phone number, 402-483-0555, and get a copy of Ready to Rightsize. Good stuff, Janine. Thank you very much. Stay safe.
Thank you, Dale.
Join us every Sunday morning for Easy Rightsizing.